Cheerios and ice cream, they just go so well together, so let's make it fancy. G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. Now this is sort of similar to what I've made before, which is a donut ice cream cone, and I'll leave that in the description below because it's fantastic and delicious, but this is still different and it's absolutely delicious. So join me today as I make my version of a Churro Ice Cream Bowl. Okay, so we're going to start this off in a pot on a stove on a medium to high heat. So to our pot I'm going to add in half a cup of butter, followed by 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, just a dash of salt which will help enhance the flavour, and 1 cup of water. So we're just going to stir this over this medium to high heat until it comes up to a boil and everything is dissolved. Okay, so our mixture has come up to the boil, so now I'm going to turn it down to a medium to low heat. Just stir it a little bit more. So just wait for it to stop boiling. We don't want to add the flour just yet, otherwise it can clump up. So just let it reduce in temperature just for about a minute. As long as everything is nicely dissolved within each other, or nicely mixed. Okay, so once the temperature's been reduced to a medium to low, I've got a cup of plain flour. So I'm just going to add that in, and we're just going to mix it through until it comes up to like a nice batter consistency. As you can see, it's just mixing through like so. Make sure there's no white bits left or any lumps. So keep doing this until you don't see any white bits or any lumpy bits, so it's all nice and combined. Okay, so once it's combined like so, simply take it off the heat and we're going to let this cool down for about 10 minutes. Because if we add the eggs too soon, it's going to cook the eggs and we don't want that just yet. Okay, now that our batter is cooled slightly, next I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And lastly, I have 4 eggs. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 egg at a time and give it a good mix through until it's well combined. Then once it's combined, we're going to add the 2nd egg, then the 3rd egg. If you do it all at once, it's just going to clump up. It's going to be really difficult to mix in. So that's why it's important to do 1 at a time. So make sure it's all mixed in thoroughly before we add the next egg. Okay, so next I'm going to use a piping bag with a star tip and just place it into a cup like so, and just simply get your mixture and just place it into our bag. And next I've got a muffin pan and it's upside down, so I've just got some cooking spray oil, so give it a very good grease just so they don't stick. Or you can just wipe it over with butter if you don't have cooking spray oil. But you definitely want to make sure it's well greased. And we're simply just going to pipe our mixture around each cupcake. Now once they're done, we're going to place them into the freezer for a good 2 hours to give them a chance to completely freeze up, just so they hold their shape. Okay, so I've taken one of our cups out of the freezer. As you can see, it is now nicely frozen. Now as a hint, what I did was I just turned it upside down in the muffin holder, put a bit of hot water in it for about, I think it was about probably 5 seconds, and it just popped right off. It is that simple. Okay, so now it's time to fry it up. Now I'm going to use a deep fryer. I'm going to have it at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. But if you feel comfortable using hot oil on a pot on the stove, that's completely up to you. I just find it far better using this because it just maintains the temperature so much easier. So we're just going to do 1 or 2 at a time. So I'm just going to place it into the basket. And we're going to just fry it up for about 5 minutes. Just till we get to a nice Cheerio consistency. And you'll know what it's like once you get to it. It doesn't take too long. So you know it's done when it just, see when it starts to go a little brown on the outside, just like that. Just give it a little bit longer because it will fall apart if you do it too soon. You may have to turn it over depending on how deep your deep fryer is, just so you can do both sides. Okay, so basically, see how it's just browned up nicely? And it's also floating on the top of the oil, as opposed to before. It wasn't actually floating, it was just a bit big. But once it's floating freely like this, that means it's ready. So we're just going to pull it up and just turn it upside down, just so we can get that oil to just drain off, and just let it drain off for about, say, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so now I've got some cinnamon sugar. It's basically 4 parts sugar to 1 part cinnamon. So it's up to you how much you make. So with it drained but still warm, just coat the outside in our cinnamon sugar mixture. And just continue on until they're all done. Okay, so once it's cooled down, all we have to do now is just top it up with some ice cream. And of course, drizzle on some chocolate syrup. And there we have a very, very delicious Churro and ice cream bowl. Now honestly, how can you possibly say no to that? It is that good. They're very easy to make. Preparation time, probably about 10-15 minutes. Not including a bit of time in the freezer, of course. But they are so simple, but so yummy. It's like having a thin donut with ice cream, but it just works and goes so well together. So definitely a treat that you want to have just every now and then. But I'm confident once you bite into one of these, you'll know it tastes simply delish. So thank you for watching this episode of Todd's Kitchen. As always, I'll leave a list of ingredients down below in the description, as well as links to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Home Handy Hints channel. And please do me a massive favor by giving this video a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another delicious recipe.